Hey everyone, it's I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you today with a VV OMI update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. If not, welcome back. I love y'all. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. Commenting, liking, subscribing is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon and smashing that thanks button down below. So this video is really going to be going over towards staking and why it's important and what you need to do in order to get more OMI, in order to qualify for the staking, what the rewards are. This is just going to be a quick little breakdown and then what you need to do at the end of it as well. So in general, there are 5 staking tiers. There's tier 1 through 5. And tier 1 is going to cost you about $2,500 worth of OMI. And well, if that's tier 1, what's tier 5? Well, it doubles every tier. Tier 2 is 5,000, tier 3 is 10,000, tier 4 is 20,000, and tier 5 is $40,000 worth of OMI. Now, you will be able to fast track that, a little bit more on that later. But what type of benefits do you get for that? Well, if you're going to do any type of selling or buying with OMI, if you're staking in tier 1, which costs $2,500, you are automatically, instead of paying 2.5% fee for using OMI or crypto, you will only have to pay 1.5% OMI or crypto fee in order to do that. So already it saves you every time you want to do some arbitrage, whether you sell some of your collectibles for OMI or take your OMI to buy some collectibles, and you want to balance that out, you're going to be able to save 1%. And then for every additional tier, it's minus 0.25. So it goes to 1.25, then 1, then 0.75, and then at the tier 5 staking, you only have to pay 1/2 of 1% for that fee. So that's really cool. One of the other things is that if you lock up your stuff, your OMI in tier 1 for 1 quarter, you will go and you will get a free common NFT that's going to be airdropped to you every single quarter, every single year, from now until the end of time, or until they decide not to do it anymore. But should be for the rest of our lives. Let's say. And if you decide to stake $5,000 in tier 2, then same thing. You are going to get an uncommon. So not only do you get the common, as you would if you on tier 1. If you're near tier 2, you get airdropped an uncommon. Whatever that is, it might be something that is specifically just meant for staking. So if you're in tier 3, you get the benefits of tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3, which you'd get a rare. If you're staking at tier 4, you get an ultra rare. If you're staking at tier 5, you get a secret rare 4 times a year airdrop to you. You get a whole set airdrop to you 4 times a year. And if that wasn't reason enough, not only do you do that, but if you stake for an entire year, you get an additional benefit. You get, staking at tier 1, you get, I think, 20 bronze tickets per quarter. And then if you are in tier 5, I think you get 100 bronze tickets. Now, obviously, bronze tickets, I'll do more on that in another video. You can go and you can get if you have one place in a queue for a collectible that's 10,000, 50,000, whatever, you have a very small % chance of getting it because it's random. But if you pay $1 worth of OMI for 1 bronze ticket, you can go and you can bet that bronze ticket, and you're going to be able to go, and now you have 2 places. So you have twice the chance as you did before. If you bet $4 worth of OMI, you have 4 chances. But you don't have to bet anything, because if you're staking at tier 1, you get 20 free bronze tickets every quarter, which is great. If you're staking $40,000, at tier 5, then you get 100 tickets each quarter, which is super amazing. But then in tier 4 and tier 5, you are going to go and you are going to get gold and silver tickets as well. If you have a silver ticket, you don't have to just use that for drops. You can use that to say, like, hey, let's say Spider-Man goes to $100,000 again, secret rare, and you want to get rid of the buyer's fees for it. 2.5% buyer's fees. You can go with that silver logo and say, I'm going to X out all of these buyer's fees. So you can go and instead of having a buyer's fee as 2.5%, which is $2,500, you can go and say, hey, I'm going to X that out. I don't want that. And you save on those fees. Now, obviously, it makes more sense to do it on the much higher end items. If you do it on something that's worth only $10,000, you save $250, which is still pretty cool. But it's not that $2,500 that would be for $100K. Think of Donnie's, think of Partner Statue eventually, Secret Rare Spider-Man, maybe Miles Morales, maybe Riso, Lomint, Todd, I don't know, VV Gold logo. In conjunction with that, you will also get a gold ticket. And the gold ticket, yes, it is reserved for tier 5 for the most part. If you're going to get, I think, 2 tickets per quarter, so 8 tickets per year, but you cannot stack those. You can't say, I'm going to save the one for this quarter and next quarter and the next quarter, and then by Q4 you have 8 tickets. You can't do that. You will be able to purchase them off the marketplace, though, which is going to be really cool. So if you say, hey, because if you take a gold ticket, you can say, I want to guarantee myself a spot to get this collectible, and you'll get it. You're still going to have to pay for it in gems, but if you say, hey, I've spent too much recently, so instead of guaranteeing myself a collectible and having to spend the gems for it, or OMI, crypto, whatever, you will instead sell your ticket. And if you sell your gold ticket, then you can get however much someone's willing to pay for it. Now, every single staking season, which is every quarter, so let's say we start in Q3 next year, that is season 1, then Q4 season 2, then Q1 of 2024 season 3, and so on and so forth. Where this really, really matters, pretty much every quarter that you have a really cool, whether it's anime, anytime you have a really cool drop, we have a cool comic book, cool anime, cool drop. Let's say we get that P word, and we say, we get the first drop ever. You're going to spend it on that. But you could also say, let's say you just don't like Pokemon. Let's say you're like, hey, I was a Digimon person, and you don't really have a connection with Pikachu or Ash or Misty or any of the Pokemon. Say you never played the games, but Pokemon's coming out. People are going to go bananas to buy that ticket. Or let's say Donkey Kong, whatever it is. They're going to go crazy for it. On the opposite end of that, in season 5, so let's just say in 2023, next year, next quarter, let's say it starts in Q1. It won't start in Q1 of next year. It'll probably start in Q3, but let's say Q1 of next year, in a couple months. That's season 1. Season 5 would be Q1 of 2024. In season 5, again, whenever it is, in season 5, that 5th quarter, you're going to be able to take, if you were lucky enough to get a golden ticket or 2 golden tickets if you're in tier 5, you're going to be able to get those tickets, and you're going to be able to redeem those tickets for land in the VVverse. I had asked Reese about this, and I had said, hey, do you think that even if we don't have VV golden tickets by that point, do you think land will have been available for sale before that point? And he says probably. So let's say we start this in Q3 of next year. Then we're going to be able to take our gold tickets in season 5 of staking, which would be Q4 of 2024, and you're going to be able to exchange that for land. Reese had said you're probably going to be able to buy land well before Q4 of 2024. Whenever we start, by the time that next, that 5th quarter, season 5, you're probably going to be able to buy land well beforehand. Now, that's not to say that the VVverse, you won't have the VVverse very, very quickly. We're going to get a demo of it this month at DesignerCon, but you're going to be able to go and say, maybe we get first iteration of the VVverse, early next year. Let's say Q1, Q2. But just because we get the first iteration of the VVverse doesn't mean we're able to have land. Now, for this, for me, what I'm going to do in that season 5, because I there's no sense in me buying a golden ticket in season 4 and then saving it for season 5, because they end at the end of each season. But in season 5, those golden tickets are going to go to the moon, because everyone and their sister is going to want to go and purchase land. I'm going to want to buy as much of those VV golden tickets as possible. Yes, there is the chance that if you, let's say you have a partner, let's say you have a wife, say you have a husband, doesn't matter which, say you have a partner, married partner, you trust them explicitly, and they're not into VV. For whatever reason, they're not into it. You can say, hey, babe, can you KYC in this account? And, so this way you're able to stake. And if you have $80,000 worth of OMI, $40,000 staking for you, $40,000 staking for your partner, you can go and your partner can go and also collect those golden tickets, and they can collect that land for you. They can redeem it for land. Now, I know you're saying, Chavez, this all sounds like a lot of money. This all sounds insane. $80,000, $40,000, it's a lot. And I've heard these comments before. So right now, that was the end of the informative part. Right now is going to be some tough love. And this video, 10-minute mark, is going to be some tough love from Chavez that I think people need. A lot of people have been saying that this is, and not a lot, just a very, very small minority, a loud minority, have been saying, yeah, it's, kind of pay to win. And, money goes to money. And, this is a slap in the face for the collectors, which, by the way, MCP is a whole other thing. Like, MCP was not really mentioned today, but MCP will have its own benefits. It screws the little guy. Only the big people with lots of money can do this. Only whales. Yes, $40,000 worth of OMI right now is how you get to staking tier 5. But by this time next year, if you have, let's say $10,000 worth of OMI, you're going to have $40,000 worth next year. Not financial advice, but that'd be silly that we wouldn't. It's going to actually probably be much, much more than that. Let's say right now, you can't even get to $2,500. You can't even get to the first level right now because that's a lot. That's a mortgage payment for some people. It's rent for a lot. And and this is mostly going to be directed towards able-bodied people in first world countries. If you're in a third world country and you get, $5 a month or $10, $20 a month, yeah, it's going to be impossible for you to do. If you're disabled and you physically can't work and you're on a budget, like whatever, I get it. What I'm about to say is not to anyone that is so downtrodden that they don't have an extra $3 a month. This is not for them. This is for people that are able-bodied in a first world country. If you are working right now, let's say you're working paycheck to paycheck, and you are working 40 hours a week, that's full-time, and you have maybe an extra $20 a month, $50 a month if you're lucky, and you're working full-time, work harder. All you have to do, get another full-time job. If you say, it's too much, 80 hours a week is a lot. I get it. I could do it. Not everyone can do it. Get another part-time job. Get a part-time job where you work an extra 20 hours a week. That is exceedingly doable. That is very, 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 very doable. And by doing that, you can work your way up to right now, in the next couple months, for the end of the year, an extra couple $100, extra $500, $600. You don't even have to get to $2,500 for that tier 1 staking. You know why? Because most likely, in a year from now, the $500 that you have in OMI is probably going to be worth more than $2,500. Dare I say. And in 2 years from now, 3 years from now, it's probably going to be worth a lot more than that. Probably 20x. You have $500. Okay, now you have $10,000. When this 20x's, which again I believe is fairly. That is 3.2 cents right now. Well, let's round it up and say 3.3 cents. That is like $10 billion market cap for OMI. 2020. That is laughably low. Never have I ever seen a person put their all into something, and I've trained a lot of people. Have they had a good diet, and had they worked out, and they cardio, and they lifted weights, and they tried, and they didn't make excuses, they didn't cry, and say like, oh, I wasn't born with great genetics. Never have I ever seen someone that was healthy, that could do that, and didn't lose weight, and didn't get in shape, and didn't get a six-pack. It is the same thing for working. It's the same thing for OMI and investing, if you wish. When I was giving financial advice to my Pokemon followers 2 years ago, where they're like, Chavez, I'll never be able to get a card that's worth thousands of dollars. And what did I do? I say, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? Are you working? How many hours are you working? Double the amount that you're working, and you'll be able to get something like this. The last one of these sold for, I think like $2,200, $2,500, whatever it is. I think right now, because we're in kind of a down market, it's worth maybe like $500 or $600. But there were people that got other jobs so they can go and they can get Pokemon cards. Not for an investment, just because they liked it, just because they love the card. Any one person that I've been talking to, so first world country, able-bodied, that's only working one job at 40 hours a week, can go and get another job. Easily one, if not two other jobs. What are you willing to sacrifice? If people that can get an extra job at Target or Walmart can pay thousands of dollars for a Pokemon card, you can get a couple $100 worth of OMI, and by the time you're able to stake in tier 1, you'll be able to stake in tier 1. I have no sympathy for people that say, oh yeah, it must be nice, and you're only working 30 hours a week. I was working 3 times as much when I had 2 businesses, a YouTube channel, a girlfriend, all that stuff. Now I have 145 million OMI, and that's not the end. So again, a little bit of tough love from Chavez that I think is very much needed, because if I don't have any sympathy for people that don't work for it. I understand if you're like, hey, you don't understand, Chavez, I'm already working overtime, and I have a wife that has needs, and I have kids that have needs, and I want to spend time with them. Okay, if I understand that 100%, kids are only small for a certain amount of time, only love you for a certain amount of time, forget those teenage years, and they hate you for a little bit, then they love you again. Listen, what are you willing to sacrifice? Some people, they would be willing to sacrifice that. Others are not, and that's 100% okay. But if, especially if you're single, if you have the time, what are you willing to sacrifice? You don't need to go out to dinner, 2 nights a week or even every week. Stay home, eat rice and beans. Not medical advice, but if I can do it, anyone can do it. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashie. Bye-bye, Dashie. I love you guys. Goodbye. Meow, 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 meow.